What's up, everybody? Alex here, and welcome to this live patch analysis with none other than Zequixotics, Mr. Worldwide, coming to you live from a hotel room in God knows where. And he is
It's
so
true.
committed to Dota that he called me. He's like, Alex, I do not have a PC with me. I'm on the road. The patch landed. We got to make a video. So here you are with Zequixotics, and
Here I am.
if you're new to the channel, I tend to focus on the new player element of the patch and the the notes and everything like that. Our community is focused around new players. Zequixotics is a top 1,000 immortal. Definitely better than I am. But anyways, that's a whole other discussion for another day. But anyways, Zequix, it is absolutely a pleasure to have you. You want to give us kind of like a quick rundown on what's going on in the life of Zequixotics?
No, I want to play Dota. I'm traveling, guys. My computer's not even built yet. It's at home. It got delivered while I was gone, so I got to go and assemble it. But here I am because I want to look at the patch. So I'm with Alex. It'll go up on your channel. I'll direct people to it. Yay.
All right. So anyway, also this is a total blind read of the patch. As we were getting ready to go live, the patch went out. So neither of us have seen anything about it yet. So right off the bat, I'm getting a pop-up about a Dota Plus exclusive new battle report ready from March 2022 to June 8th, 2022. I don't know what this is or what this means, but Zequix, I'm clicking it.
New battle report ready?
This is
okay.
battle report. I don't know what this is.
Pull up your stream on the tablet.
All right, oh yeah, he's got multiple devices ready for this moment.
My phone is propped up on the microwave in the hotel.
Oh jeez. It's loading the battle report. I think the failed to load battle reports. You know what? Maybe we'll have to come back to that, Zequix.
You probably have too many reports after your battles.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's go right to the update here. We're going to go right to the 7.31D gameplay update. Let me just make sure that because we're doing this live, I want to make sure we're not covering anything. Oh, I'm kind of covering stuff, but I think that it should ultimately be okay. So we'll go through the patch here. Maybe I'll move over. Maybe I'll move myself over. All right, do you want to start with the general changes up top? I will allow you to read the notes as I fix my broadcast.
Sure. All right, Marcy to captain's mode. That's fine. Now we'll get to actually see pros really go into it because they don't. Some people play the new heroes, but a lot of them don't really go that into it until it's in captain's mode and they can actually use it for their careers. So you're probably gonna see a lot of development of Marcy builds. And I don't know if she's been patched or not, so we'll see that. Roshan will now attack ward units if there are no other units within melee range, so this means you can't... Oh, and then actually I'll read the next bullet as well. Roshan attacks will immediately destroy any ward type unit. So this is pretty much, you can't cheese Rosh with Venomancer and Shadow Shaman anymore.
Yeah, that's definitely a Shadow Shaman nerf.
I'm trying to think of anyone else. Yeah, so you can't just solo do it and then run in and out of the pit. You need people, they'll still be good at it, but you need people to help you. So not such a solo pub cheese thing anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that definitely needed to get changed for sure. There's no question about it.
Yeah, and then the Satyr Mind Stealer, mana aura reduced from 2.5 to 2. I'm pretty sure that's strictly a Doom nerf. I don't know anyone else who benefits from it nearly as much as Doom.
Yeah, especially with Doom 4 being so popular, right? Who knows? Maybe he got nerfed. We don't know yet. The coordinator's going up and down like crazy. I love patch day, man. All right.
I love patch day.
Item changes. Bracer HP regeneration reduced from 1 to 0.75. Zequix, what are your thoughts on this?
That's fine. It's a pretty minor change. A couple people were building 1 or 2 bracers and Soul Ring. A lot of offlaners. So that's going to be just a little bit worse. You could still do it, but just balancing the item a little bit.
In a recent build of the week, I literally talked about how the particular hero was building 3 bracers in the laning phase.
See?
And in the guide, I only put 2, but the people were spamming bracers pretty hard. Not a huge nerf, but still you hate to see it. I like the stats item. Null Talismans. All right, Null Talisman no longer grants 4% mana cost reduction, rip position support. Storm Spirit that we saw today now grants 3% max mana, and mana regeneration increased from 6 to 0.75. So no mana cost reduction, more max mana, and more mana regen. Zequix, what are your thoughts?
I feel like this is specifically a Storm Spirit nerf. I forget the way the ult works exactly, but it does take a percentage of your mana, so it's going to hurt him. But for most heroes, I think this is arguably better, if not just equivalent.
Yeah, I see this being super valuable. Like that mana regen increase is not insignificant. Like it sounds like it at first,
Mhm.
but some supports hold this all game. Like you might hold all two. Like a support Wind Ranger, Skywrath Mage holds it all game, right? So, I mean,
Yeah,
Skywrath really benefited from the mana cost reduction, though.
yeah. I don't. Skywrath might be one who is sad about this mana cost
Yeah,
reduction, but only heroes who like really spam a lot of spells, which is like Skywrath, Storm, a couple others maybe. They're gonna miss the mana cost reduction, but a lot of other people who aren't such spammers but just have large mana pools, or sorry, large mana costs, are going to be fine with this, I think.
yeah. Like someone like Lich, I think would like this.
Yeah, I could see that. That could be good.
All right, Healing Salve. Duration is halved when cast on an ally.
Ah,
What in God's
oh my
name?
God.
What? And
Oh,
cost
this is a
decreased by
support buff.
10?
Let me tell you what. Idiot carries buy your own salve. Let's go. Supports are free.
Do you think that's what this is? This is a burden off supports?
Yeah, I'm tired of it. Free yourself from the tyranny of carry players. Stop buying them salves. I've bought like 5 in a game before. Now they'll have to do it themselves. Actually, they'll probably still request it. Oh, see, the camera's sticking.
They'll probably still
request it, and they'll be like, heal me 200 health.
All right, BKB cooldown increased from 75 to 90.
Wait, really though, on the salad, it's pretty big. It's a really big change to Blade State.
I'm
really excited about
this.
I'm really excited about this.
I remember when you got so hyped up when the tangos expired on the mids.
Yeah, it's just like that.
Yeah.
I'm being freed. Support. We're going to do other things. It's so good. I'm so excited. Okay.
Yeah, that's a cool
now
change.
We can move on to BKB.
BKB cooldown increase from 75 seconds to 90. Like this, okay, this is one of the things I talked about before, and I think maybe you can reinforce, but one of the things that, especially when I started like experimenting as a position 1 player and I started building lots of BKBs, because I traditionally played heroes that never built BKB. And the thing I learned was a major difference between a very good player and a player like me was when to use BKB, actually popping it at appropriate times, right? And this punishes just like the willy-nilly, I'm going to hit BKB because I'm scared, right? I think this increases the skill cap of BKB. Also, I think that it makes it's a nerf straight up, and I think people kind of low-key wanted a BKB nerf. Like, what are your thoughts on it?
People definitely wanted a BKB nerf. I don't think its intention is to punish like you getting scared and BKBing, but actually you're right that it does punish that. What this really punishes is like before you BKB and it's like a minute roughly, right? BKB has its own duration. By the time it expires, you probably like TP home, and then there's like a minute before you can use it again. So you play cautiously for a minute. It makes those kind of like smoke plays more rewarding where the carry gets away, but there's now 90 seconds where they're really vulnerable, as opposed to 75, which doesn't sound like that different, I guess, but it is, because if you think about different like ultimates and other items and stuff like that in the game, they're just not going to line up as easily anymore. So you're more punished, like you said, if you use BKB poorly, but also even if you use it correctly, you just won't have it again. And if one team recognizes like, oh, we're losing this fight and they're using BKBs, you could choose not to pop your BKBs and save them and try to like take a recovery fight after that, because the enemy team still wouldn't have their BKBs.
Yeah,
whereas
so
right now
BKB,
it's kind of like low cooldown, everyone just uses them.
Yeah, so like kiting BKB is like an incredibly valuable thing right now. Like, so with this change, like you see this Sven, he pops his ult, pops his BKB, you just run the hell away and just re-engage, and like it is a significant like change in like that way that fight ends up playing out. Like I think it's a cool change.
Yeah,
because you can't really nerf like. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, because you can't really nerf like this, like the spell immunity part. Like, what the hell do you do to that, right? So you have to nerf the cooldown, the duration, the cost.
Yeah, it'll be. We haven't read the rest of the patch, so I don't know. But if only this change had happened, I would say you still get it for this fighting meta, and it's like the refresher BKBs that we sometimes see would still be relatively good because you don't care about the CD. But it's really those like punishing plays like outside of those big fights where this would be a bigger change. But I don't know, maybe the patch has changed that, so we'll see.
All right, Let's move on to Butterfly. Bonus agility increase from 30 to 35. Minor buff. I don't know if you... Well, who cares, right?
Yeah,
Butterfly's actually...
it's fine.
It's whatever. Crimson Guard. Okay, I got an opinion on this because Crimson Guard has sucked for a long time. It's received some minor buffs here and there. Now, this one's a little more significant. The major point here is that it's a major increase to the defensive capabilities on the range side of the damage block. So you're getting 5 on melee damage block, and you're getting 15 on the range damage block. That's pretty significant.
Is that?
That's how I'm reading.
Sorry, can you? I actually can't remember. Can you? I don't know if you can hover. I can't do it on my tablet. Is it?
It doesn't allow you to hover. I'm pretty sure it's 70 melee, 35
and 50 ranged.
Maybe
so just better for your team overall. I wasn't sure if it was like because there's a passive component to Crimson Guard and then an active component. So I wasn't sure if that was what those were.
Oh, you're right, because the passive component only applies to you, but for your allies, I believe it's like for that duration of time, it's 100% block.
But I can't remember how that's written. So either way, it's better for your team.
I'm going to the items here. Let's take a look at the item list. Maybe we get some more information here. So yeah, so for 12 seconds, they get 100% chance to block 75 damage from each incoming attack.
Okay, and then
passive is
passively,
60%. The passive is 60% chance to block 75 damage from melee, 50 from ranged.
Oh, okay. This is actually not as significant as I thought then, because it's still good, but it's still going to be mostly a melee hero item, because ranged heroes just really won't build this.
No.
But actually, a couple might. Kind of your off-lane space makers, maybe like Venomancer, might consider it. It is better on them now. I don't suspect they will, unless there's other things in this patch that make this better, which maybe there are. But I'd still suspect this is mostly a melee item.
Okay, and Lincoln Sphere. Cooldown increase from 12 seconds to 14.
That's fine. It doesn't sound like a lot, but if you think about the different single target spells that aren't ultimates, some of them it's like, oh, you cast it, you pop Lincolns. By the time your spell's up, Lincoln's up. So you're just like in this eternal loop of popping Lincolns with your spell. But now some spells that are like 13 seconds, right? You can pop Lincolns, and then when you use it again, Lincolns is still down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it'll be a little easier to get the Lincoln's targets now.
And it's also a low-key nerf on some of like the popular like mobility heroes like Quap and Storm, and heroes that really prefer to build it too. So we'll have to see later if that's reflective on how those heroes were changed, if they were changed at all. Satanic active lifesteal reduced from 200% to 175.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's active. I felt like its active was a little too strong at times. Like you would see like
Yeah.
Luna is like basically being near death and popping right up. It almost felt like invincibility to some extent, as long as someone could auto attack. So that probably is about right.
So it'll be a little worse, but still a 175 still fairly good. So
Yeah, because the thing about
I think it's a
Satanic
fine
is
nerf.
if Satanic's active, you can't burst someone down if they're attacking. Like you don't kill a Luna if she has BKB Satanic on, right?
Yeah, it's tough.
So, anyways, Eternal Shroud. This one of the worst items in the game, arguably. Magic resistance
It used to be
increased.
so good.
Yeah, I know. Increased from 20 to 25. Okay, not insignificant. Shroud cooldown reduced from 60 seconds to 45. So the item still sucks. It sucks.
I think it's 45. Down to 45 is pretty nice.
But it's the lifesteal component. Like it's the
I need to
lifesteal
see the
component of
rest
the
of the
item that
heroes
makes it
who
good.
built this. I need to see who else. I think part of it is like the people who built this item just weren't that great. So this does make the item better, but if the heroes who build it still suck, then
The only
item's not
hero
gonna be
that I
viable.
can even think of that was consistently building was Bristleback.
Bristleback, Necrophos would sometimes build it.
Yes, Necro is another one. But
I
ironically,
can't think of more without the list. But
a lot of heroes that might want that spell lifesteal might be more interested in a Bloodstone. And Bloodstone has been changed with spell lifesteal increased from 25% to 30, and the Blood Pack cooldown reduced from 40 to 30 seconds. Zequix, what are your thoughts here?
not a lot of people were building Bloodstone, so it's a little better now. The active's different now, though, right? I can't hover over it. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
actually heal you
So
the way
the
it used to, right?
active,
It just
yeah, it's not the same
life
thing as it was
heals.
before. So active is Blood Pact, 30-second cooldown, doubles Bloodstone's spell lifesteal, and also converts the same percentage of damage dealt to mana.
So it's now 60 when you activate it. So you cast like a 100 damage spell, you get 60 health back. But by the time you build this, your spells are doing like 300 or 400.
Yeah, but it also
Okay.
costs 10% of your health to activate. I should have
Yeah.
that part.
So if you have like 2,000 health, they cost you 200, but then like one spell now kind of makes up for that. And if you cast more, um, okay, I could see it. I could see it being a little better. I mean, it's obviously a little better, but like, I
Yeah.
guess we'll just have to see what heroes look good because
Yeah, like none of the
Plus, it's kinda
supports are gonna build
specific.
Bloodstone, right?
Yeah.
Like this is like a like mid Pugna, mid Lash, mid. It's mid. It's a mid item basically. Um,
Yeah, spellcaster carries kind
Yeah.
of thing.
anyways,
Okay.
Revenant's Brooch. Brooch? It's definitely Brooch, right? I don't think
I
I've
it's
ever heard
Brooch.
it.
Whoa.
It's Brooch.
Brooch is different.
Is
Brooch
it?
is different. Yeah, BROACH is a brooch. This
Well,
is a
welcome
brooch.
to English literature class where we're learning words as well today. Um, okay. Anyways, cooldown reduce. I don't think I've ever seen this in my pubs. Then again, my
Me
pubs are a
neither.
nightmare garbage fest.
Once maybe.
So, cooldown reduced from 45 seconds to 25, so a very significant cooldown reduction. Cooldown now starts after all attacks run out. Okay, so basically, you can't just pop it, hold it, and then use it, and then repop it. Okay. Mana cost increased from 250 to 300. No longer consumes an attack when hitting a magic immune target. And you can cast Revenant's Brooch while active to remove all remaining attacks and start the cooldown.
Does it say how long the attacks lasted? That's like a very strange thing to add to me, unless these were like infinite.
It was
That
15,
is the-
so the attacks expired after 15 seconds. You got 5 attacks with True Strike, that dealt magical damage. But the key thing is that they can attack ethereal damage. Oh my
Yeah.
God. English.
Seems really strange to me to add this last thing.
Yeah.
It's good, but I don't understand why. I guess the item sucks.
Yeah, I
they
still
really
don't
needed
see
to
it.
give it things to make it good.
Basically, who's a right clicker that would build like a E-Blade? Quap? Maybe? Not even? Like I don't like who would really build this? I feel like it's like a Quap item basically. But I don't know.
Well, they don't have to be the one who builds it. Someone else might build it. I guess.
No, I don't think so. It says your next 5 attacks. I've never used this item.
Yeah, but someone else could have the ethereal.
Yes, but you can't actively place this on another hero. It's not targetable.
No, but like the carrier mid or someone, the right clicker buys this item,
Oh, I see.
and then ethereal is already in the game. Like the enemy has ghost
Like they're
scepters,
decreping or
or
whatever.
yeah, or your team has the E-Blade or something.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's a good consideration.
This is now like maybe a reasonable counter to Ghost Scepter, since it's I say reasonable, it's still really expensive, but in the late game, it's a response for like mid heroes who didn't want to build Nullifier
Yeah.
to deal with the Ghost Scepter. Now they can like Revenant's Brooch kill people.
Yeah. Okay. Still 6,200 gold. That's I don't know. I would expect never to see this item.
I think it's better against like really high armor targets. I don't know if armor got buffed. I think we're at the end of the item, so I guess it didn't. But I think it was actually better against some like high armor heroes that people just hadn't explored yet.
Yeah, fair enough. Chat making a statement. It's so that you can damage BKB'd targets. It says you can attack the target, but it deals no damage to magic immune targets. So I'm not.
I didn't
sure.
think it pierced BKB. I thought it was ethereal.
Yeah, can attack. It says can attack ethereal targets and deals no damage to magic immune targets. So I'm not sure what chat meant there. Anyways, Wraith Pact model size increased by 50%. Attacks to destroy reduced from 5 to 4.
It's so expensive.
Bounty increased from 20 to 100. And when cast, it will automatically follow the caster. Oh, thank God! What a good quality of life change that was. So basically, it's easier. It's easier to hit, and you're incentivized to hit it.
Yeah.
Good change.
Yeah, it's a nerf.
Okay.
It's still good for what it does.
Chat verifying that you do 0 damage to BKB with Revenant's Brooch. However, you do not lose targets anymore. So you can target BKB targets that are immune to damage, but you won't actually damage them. Okay. Understood. So you won't actually lose the charge. Okay, Alchemist. Now we're on to the heroes. It sounds so confusing. We're reading it and we're like, I don't know, man, whatever. Purge, I'm sure we'll read through that patch note for 75 minutes and, and test it. Hero changes. We have Alchemist, Berserk Potion, Shard mana cost reduced from 125 to 100. Chemical Rage duration increased from 25 to 30 seconds. Cooldown increased to 60 seconds. So minor cooldown increase, minor duration increase as well. So a little bit more team fight for Alchemist. Do you care? Because I don't.
Looking at these previous changes doesn't make me care. But if the other mid heroes got nerfed, I don't think Alchemist is like awful. So I think if the other popular mids got nerfed, he might increase in popularity. The duration's the important part because like in a fight you have to win before your ult goes down. So like having 5 more seconds, even though the cooldown's 5 more, is like perfectly fine. It's not about having it up, it's about like winning the fight in the ult.
Yeah, it's definitely a buff.
I think this is good for the hero, but it depends if like the other mid heroes, all the like super active mid heroes are bad for Alchemist because they hunt him down while he's trying to farm up. So like if those heroes are nerfed, then Alchemist becomes a lot better.
Yeah.
Bristleback. See that? We can move on.
And with that, we move on. Bristleback, everyone's favorite bar fight extraordinaire. Vicious Nasal Goo, cast range increased from 600 to 650. Okay. And Bristleback's passive Bristleback, release threshold reduced from 210 to 200. So minor changes, I think. Because he's kind of been in a weird spot.
Math for this. I need math to know how good that Bristleback changes.
I mean, it's a buff, but like...
I'll tell you what. He likes Crimson Guard, Ethereal Shroud, and Bloodstone. Let's see.
So the items that got buffed, yeah, he does like Eternal Shroud. He loves Crimson Guard. And I mean, theoretically, Wraith Pack's not crazy for. Wraith Pack probably sucks for him. Never mind. Well, we'll see. He definitely builds the Eternal Shroud and likes that, and Crimson Guard for sure. So, chat saying it's around 5% more passive procs for Bristle.
It's not bad.
It's more. I mean, that's how he gets kills, right? So it's not bad. I mean, I like Bristle. Thing is, though, is like if you think about all these items, like usually with Bristleback, you're going Vanguard into Eternal Shroud into Ags, right? Or Vanguard into Ags into Eternal Shroud. But the problem with that is usually at some point you need to dispel. So you need like the Lotus Orb, right? So like I feel like he needs too many items to really be viable. Like I've played him off lane and it feels like the game's over before you actually come online or you snowball and smash everybody. Like I feel like in a game where like you're really contesting and like it's a 50-50 game, if Bristle doesn't get his Lotus Orb and he needs all these other items to actually, like, he needs his Ags to be realistically feasible, it's just too many items. It's too much money and he doesn't get to it. Because everyone's going to be shooting vessels on you, like, you know what I mean? You're going to get broken. The Silver Judges are going to come out. Like, you need... when you play Bristle, everyone's like, we're countering Bristle. Right? So. Yeah.
And we gotta see if the mobile heroes got nerfed. They're also an issue for Bristle.
Centaur Warrunner, someone who was really hot at the TI-10 meta, they just dropped off. Hoof Stomp, stun duration increased from 1.6 to 2. That's okay, huge. So you have 0.4 seconds on level 1 and 0.1 seconds on level 4. So it's a little more front heavy. So like a value point in it would kind of be more significant now. So 2 seconds at level 1.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That means offlaners can do a value point, like you said, a value point in it and level up their other abilities if they wanted to. That's Centaur's issue. Like all his abilities are really good. He wants to level all of them. So this makes it a lot easier to no longer have to level Hoof Stomp. It is now essentially a level 2 ability at level 1 compared to like what it was before.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really good. And then it's even better when you eventually do level it up. It's 0.1. So
Yes.
yeah, that's really nice for Centaur.
Yeah, so I imagine the build is like you literally start Who Stomp and then 2 points in Retaliation. And then your 4th point's probably in whatever the axe spell's called. I can't remember.
Um, if it's
yeah.
an aggressive lane, you could probably go QWW
Yeah.
and get a lot of farm faster. I'll tell you what, Centaur also like some of these items that got buffed.
Yeah, he
Alright,
likes
I'm
Crimson,
down for
right?
it.
He
I'm
likes
down
Crimson.
for it. Centaur's one of the few offlaners I can play. Let's go.
Well, we'll see if Venomancer got buffed too, okay? We'll have to check.
Okay, he's at the very bottom.
Chaos Knight. So Chaos
You've
Bolt
been
already
playing a
got
lot of Chaos
spanked,
Knight.
man. Chaos Bolt already got spanked with regards to the shard at the last patch. This patch is seeing the damage reduced pretty significantly. So just as a reminder for those that would not have known, is that Chaos Bolt had an interesting interaction where essentially it did a random amount of damage and it also did a random amount of stun duration, and they were like reversely correlated. So if you did minimal damage, you got maximum stun, and if you did maximum stun, you got minimal damage. Now it still does that, except the damage component of it is significantly reduced. It's just a nerf straight up. It's just a nerf straight up. Which is unfortunate, but it's actually a nerf to his laning stage. Like the way the patch note's written is like super confusing.
Yeah,
But it does ultimately get to where it was before, but its first 2 points are weak as hell. So you're losing 30 off the minimum at level 1. So
yeah, but CK, I don't know. He might actually still be okay. CK's like a super snowball hero, so if you got kills at the beginning, it was like so hard to deal with. He might still just be like an okay hero, but before he was like one of the better carries, I'd say.
yeah,
So,
Chaos Strike also got nerfed. And I mean, this is pretty significant because you would use that in lieu of getting regen. So it might not feel like a lot, but like most of the builds on CK where you're actually maxing Chaos Strike first in the laning stage, which would seem crazy, but it basically makes you never have to buy regen. You just, you're low on health, you just right click creeps, push the lane, go to the camp, and like you're literally just healing, sustaining yourself the entire time. But now this reduction is significant enough that, I mean, 8% at level 3, like that's a lot of health. And then even when you're, one of the nice things about CK was like you get in a man fight, right? And whatever. I guess SNY is just that much more important on him now. But that's a conversation.
no, I think you would still skip that.
You still skip it? Okay.
I don't know. I'm not a CK player.
I pretend to be. Clockwork. Battery Assault deals 2 times damage to creeps. That is
Clockwork's
an interesting
back.
change. What do you think, Zach? I have no thoughts on this one.
Clockwork's biggest issue is, he has a couple different issues. Farming is one of them, though, so this might bring back core Clockwork. This is why CK came back into the meta, because Chaos Strike started doing more damage to creeps.
Yeah, literally
Any
the
change
exact
that
same
allows you to
change, yeah.
farm faster is usually massive for the core hero. So I think Battery Assault does like 1,000 damage, something like that. So now it does 2,000 damage. So Battery Assault is a free camp. I could be wrong on that math. I can't check it right now, but I think this looks really good for Clockwork.
Yeah, it's about 1,000. It's you're right. So it'd be about 2,000 damage, roughly, bro math, to a camp. Off the top of your, that's impressive, dude. Off the top of your head, nice.
Battery Assault's one of the highest damaging abilities.
So
That's why I know it.
AUI is going to be upset. I watch a lot of pro AUI, and he plays Crystal Maiden a whole lot. And Crystal Maiden
17 strike.
looks like she's getting a nerf. Wait, hold on. I spoke way too early. Hold on. This is a buff. I assumed she was getting nerfed, and when I immediately looked at the patch notes, but this is a buff. So we have base strength reduced to 17, which is real sad. So it makes her even squishier. If you're a new player watching this, please do not take the advice when people tell you, oh, you're new to Dota, play position 5 CM. You're gonna feed even more than ever now. Not that it makes that much difference, but hey, that's like no strength. Frostbite cast range increased to 600 from 550. Crystal Nova, slow duration increased from 4.5 seconds to 5. So you lose a little survivability, but you're gaining more utility in your Frostbite and Crystal Nova. I'm actually going to say that's a buff.
Yeah, I think she's a pretty aggressive support, so I think that's pretty good for her.
Does this change the way she's played? Because right now the main kind of meta build on her is like literally Soul Ring, like Shard, Blink, BKB?
No,
Like,
I think you do all the same stuff. You're just a little. It's more. It's uh. It's more like risk reward because you're more likely to die. Just that much more likely to die with one less strength, but also now slightly more likely to be able to play aggressively and get killed and stuff. So this is going to help her position better, which is really good for her. This cast range plus the slow to like further get away from people and stuff, or chase for the aggressive potential, and then like frostbite from slightly further away.
yeah.
So I think it's fine for her.
One thing I'll say though is seeing these improvements to her actual abilities, it makes me wonder if like the build will change from that like alt shard initiation type stuff to like Aether Lens kind of like spellcaster from the back line type thing. Like, what are your thoughts on that? It's so funny.
It
We're Dota players. We
might.
see like minor changes like this, and we think it completely changes the personality of a hero. But Dota's come complicated, man. Like maybe this is what it needed.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think you can still play her the same way and just. I think it's overall good for her. I think you can just cast further away.
Okay.
Not too worried about one strength.
Dark Seer, base agility increased by 1.
Ooh.
Mana cost of Surge reduced. Okay, so much less expensive as you level. Vacuum damage increase, so just pure buffs.
60 damage. All right.
Yeah, that's a huge buff at level 1 and 2. Wow. These are very strong early game buffs for Darkseer. And I mean, Darkseer is one of those, like, offlaners that I guess was tricky to lane with. But once you, now this kind of makes him really strong, right? Because once you get that value point in Vacuum, you definitely have a kill threat once you have a couple points into your Ion Shell. So, now what are your thoughts?
Yeah, if Darkseer wants to play aggressive at level 4, it's a little easier with the cheaper Surge and more damage on Vacuum. I need to see what position 4s. Yeah, he's better. I need to see what position 4s are better. Because Darkseer, I feel, is very reliant on his allies.
Yeah.
So him being good is like part of it, but like he needs people to play with as well.
Yeah, he's kind of like a really niche offlaner. And you're talking about position 4's getting buffed. Dark Willow, whose Shadow Realm got previously nerfed with a fade delay, now has its cooldown reduced from 26 seconds at level 1 to 20. So it eventually gets to the same 14 seconds, but overall it is a cooldown reduction. This is cool in my opinion because one of my favorite things with Dark Willow is literally basketball 3-point shooting carries with Shadow Realm, who like, I don't know, maybe it's just my trash tier MMR, but like some carries will sit there and watch you Shadow Realm and just like not appreciate how much damage they're about to take to the face. So I like it. I'll take it.
Yeah, it's a buff, but I'm still sad about the fade delay. And I feel like the last patch had a bunch of like random nerfs.
Yeah,
I'll have to look at her again.
The fade delay definitely sucks. Yeah, the other nerf to her was her shard, the brambles on the shard. So, anyways, Dawn Breaker, strength growth, reduced by 0.2. I laugh at these changes sometimes. Like, what inspires Ice Frog to be like, drop it by 0.2? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm sure it adds up, but like, it seems so minor. But, anyways, I say this Dawn Breaker's win rate's gonna go up by 45%.
No, it's usually if it's stat growth. This is my own take on it, anyways. It's about the late game of the hero, but also it's on certain level spikes. Because like 3.6, when you level up, you don't get 3.6, you get 3. And then when you get the next level, you go, your total is now 7.2, so you get 7. So like, for example, your level 2 is now different. Like you had one more strength at level 2. So these kind of changes are either targeting certain level spikes or like the late game thing, which, yeah, like you said, it looks silly because it's like, oh, it's tiny amounts. And for most people, it probably is. But for the people who are really abusing like certain levels, that's where the stat growth is like, where you do the math to figure it out.
And that's why I bring you on videos like this, because you bring insight like that to the channel. So I appreciate it. Luminosity, critical damage increased. So straight up improvements to luminosity, which is cool because I'm assuming that is going to make her. I don't want to make assumptions. That's not that much to make her more of a right clicker, but I wonder.
It's
like,
kind of funny to nerf her strength and then buff luminosity.
Yeah,
I feel.
and the Solar Guardian cooldown reduction. Like I'm trying to figure out, like, hey, Ice Frog, do you want Dawnbreaker to be a core or offlaner or support? Like, I actually feel like Dawnbreaker has like this identity crisis where, like, there was a while where people were running because of the Ags, people were running like position 4 Dawnbreaker, and that's gone. That hasn't been a thing for a while. So like these changes make me wonder like what the identity is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the identity is either. But 90 seconds for your ult's really nice.
Yeah, it is, especially since how
You can go around more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that actually that part's a big buff to the hero, but I'm confused by that strength versus luminosity change, so I'm just gonna wait to see what people do with it.
Yeah.
And move on to Dazzle, who's a lot more interesting to me.
Shard hex duration increased from 1.75 seconds to 2 seconds. I think it's a great shard, especially like this is a hard hit against like, obviously it was great against illusion heroes and stuff like that. It's just a good shard. I think it's good. And bad juju damage and heal per stack increased by 10 across the board.
I don't know if I remember how this ability works.
What, bad juju?
I thought it only healed like a flat amount. I'll tell you, this hero is dead. I haven't looked at it in a while. So what? So every time you use an ability that affects someone, you like affect them twice. So then when you activate bad juju, there's 2 stacks and it heals based on that?
It can be activated to heal and deal physical damage to units based on the amount of charges they have. So I guess when you use abilities... I didn't realize
it was charge based.
I don't play Dazzle, and I haven't in some time, and the only Dazzles I have in my games are AFK, you know, just shadow graving themselves. I've never seen this in work, so...
I thought the stacks were only for armor, so I didn't realize it was on the damage and heal. It's kind of adding up. I don't know. I still really don't like the way the armor stacks work since they don't self-refresh.
I liked the old bad juju better.
Yeah, I'll try it. I'll see the numbers. I have to be at my computer with like an Excel sheet and like plug math in with the armor and stuff. But it might actually, it looks small. But if it's stack based,
yeah,
it's deceptively large. Plus the fact that he influences armor means that it's a like effective heal that's actually getting higher and higher. But that's why I said I had to go sit and do math. I'm not sure how good this is.
I think this is a massive buff to Disruptor.
Wow,
Static Storm. Duration increased from 5 to 6 seconds. I think that is significant.
That's pretty good.
Because, like, you build Ags on him. Like, I know it's a little greedy, but you see it often come out.
No, it's good. It's good. Right? Yeah.
Like, that's an extra second of, like, muted items, silence, significant damage, significant AoE. You're going to start seeing Mars Disruptor picks in Pro, I think, with that. Because that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, this is I don't know, it's just a buff to Disruptor, I guess. Though I feel like, to me, his laning stage is a little awkward since they were changing the Q around. But I do like this ult buff, so this is nice.
Dragon Knight is now dead. He had like 2 months of actual decency, and now base agility reduced by 3, rip, and Fireball, by far his best ability, has been not even just nerfed, but butchered. Reduction of time by 2 seconds from 10 to 8. And the AoE, this is so punishing, from 450 to 350. Dragon Knight, rest in peace. You are now officially fodder. There's no way he's relevant anymore. His shard was the only reason why he was being picked.
I think he's worse, but I think he might still be there because the damage is still the same, right?
It got nerfed prior. So this is 2 consecutive nerfs.
He was still picked after that nerf, though.
Yeah,
and like when you use it on heroes, you never reach 10 seconds anyways. But the fact that they do get out of the AoE sooner is worse. But I feel like Dragon Knight offers something that's unique to Dragon Knight.
He
I think
sucks.
he will still. I think he
This
will
is
still play.
garbage. He's gonna have a 48% win rate.
48 still pretty good for pros. If they want him, they'll want him. I think he's such a safe pick. I don't think this will stop him. It's a nerf. I don't think they'll pick him as much. Like I think they'll pick others, but I don't think he'll be gone. I don't think he's in the garbage can or anything. I'm saying this because Dragon Knight's the only mid I can reasonably play. So he has to have a place, otherwise I am dead in ranked classic.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Dragon Knight is effectively garbage Knight from now on. This is awful. This is a terrible change. They killed Dragon Knight.
Sounds
Drow
good.
Ranger.
Take a look later.
25 talent. Waves of multi-shot increase from 2 to 3.
I'm not interested in that at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine, but also like at level 25, damn it. At level 25,
Yeah, that's
she also
so
probably
late.
wants
It's
to
so
be
late in the
right-clicking
game.
too, right?
Yeah, so it'll definitely, it's a buff, you know, but I don't think it's like a massive
Garbo Knight.
well, it'll be okay, but whatever. It's not interesting to me. I'm gonna move on.
Yeah, Earthshaker. Stun duration increased.
0.9.
Those are pretty significant increases, especially
That's
early
a
on.
50% increase at level 1.
That is. That's
Not
a lot.
bad.
So that, I mean, that just helps Earthshaker overall. Elder Titan, a hero that is only ever played during TI and never, ever again. Astral
That's why
Spirit.
they're buffing him, dude. He's coming back. He's coming back. Guys, check my video I made last year. He's coming back.
Bonus speed per creep increased by, would you believe it, 50%. Earth Splitter. Cooldown reduced. I think this is huge because Earth Splitter's cooldown I feel is way too high, man. It's way too high. It's always been too high. I still think it's too high even at 100. I think it should be 90.
He's back. He's back.
It should be 90. I still think the cooldown's too high. But like I think it's important too because he's played obviously as a 5. Sometimes as a 4. I've seen core Elder Titan. I've seen it, but obviously the pros aren't doing that. And so you're going to be at like the 120 cooldown for a long time. So I guess this cooldown reduction is super significant because as a support, you're not getting levels as fast.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's definitely beneficial. So you think he's back?
Yeah, 100's really good. Compared to 120, it's a pretty big change because you stole my point. That is what I was going to say. For support, that's really big. Being able to make plays like 20 seconds sooner. Not that most people are great at abusing that, but for pros, like 20 seconds is a big deal. That's why I was excited about Dawnbreakers all going down by 10 seconds, you know? Yeah. So like Earth Splitter up to 100, I think, or down to 100, I think is that's really good for support ETs, which are really popular. He's coming back.
Ember Spirit. Base strength increased by 1. Cast range reduced on Sleight of Fist. Wamp wamp.
Yeah, screw that ability.
Yeah. Sleight of Fist is pretty annoying. Screw you, Ember Spirit. Enigma.
Yeah.
Please buff Enigma.
Oh my god, it's so far.
What?
Oh, this ability used to be 35 seconds. It's 60 now.
I know.
Oh my god.
So demonic conversion cooldown increased, rip. And this is sad because like you used to be able to like on cadence deny your range creep on every wave. Because you would deny it right off from like the racks when they spawned. And then you deny deny another creep by the time it even got to the lane. So you used to be able to deny 2 creeps on the first lane. And now rip. Oh well.
I actually wish instead of doing this, they change the amount of Eidolons you get per level.
Yeah.
This
is a shadow buff for me because this means I can't
go
feed
any
him
further. I feel like the hero is losing his identity the further you go, which I get it. A lot of people don't feel there's counterplay to Eidolons without good coordination. I also have a video on this, but I think it's a little sad to take it away. So I hope they don't go any further than that. They should just change the amount of Eidolons, I think.
As an Enigma, I actually hate this ability. I think it's annoying.
That's because you just don't want to micro your Eidolons.
I don't mind micro. I think the thing that bothers me about Eidolons is that they're hyper punishing. They feed like 24, 28 gold or whatever it is.
That's the hero.
I know, but like that, like you could grief your team so hard as an Enigma. right? Like really.
Don't
like,
pick a Nick with that.
I know, but it's my favorite. I have like a 10 streak on Enigma right now. I'm actually scared to play him again because I don't want to
That
blow
means
my
you're
10
not
streak.
What the heck about?
All right.
You're doing great, dude.
Yeah. Again, this is a shadow buff for me because I can't feed him as often. All right. Faceless Void. Time Walk. Ag Scepter. Radius increase from 350 to 400. Time Lock. Second attack delay increased. Whoa, hold on. I don't quite understand this.
That's a buff.
Second
Time Lock.
Attack delay
Time Lock
increased.
actually does a second attack, and actually a third or fourth, depending how many times it hits. But it also like bashes. So at point 3, I think you're actually gonna like chain stun. If I'm understanding this correctly, I think you're gonna chain stun people longer. Essentially 0.07 seconds, where there's not so much overlap between the second attack going so soon after the first attack.
You're talking about like that ghost image that gets created,
yeah,
right?
that's the second attack, yeah. So that, along with the time walk change, lockdown hero now. I don't know, you might see more like ridiculous. It's not a huge amount of time, like 0.07, but that'll be a couple extra cases where like the other person doesn't get to BKB because they're being locked down by bashes. If I'm reading that correctly. If I'm not, then ignore everything I just said.
I'm sure they'll still be able to
change.
BKB. But this pierces BKB
Not if you're
anyway.
chain stunned. Not if you're chain stunned. Yeah, but like other heroes pitching in, or like Maelstrom, things like that. BKB getting it off, or like getting your instant escape for some heroes, things like that. 0.07, couple extra times.
Faceless Void's broken. You heard it here first. Grimstroke. Inkswell. Radius reduced. Sad. That's actually really sad. Cooldown increase. So straight up. You know what? It's sad. Grimstroke isn't even being played in pubs very often. Getting some pro play, and then now Inkswell gets destroyed. I think Inkswell is like literally. It's so identifying. Like it's. This actually breaks my heart because I think Grimstroke and Inkswell makes Dota better. I think it's one of those abilities that really like. Kind of like with the Eidolons, like it's a hero defining ability. Like you pick Grimstroke because of Inkswell, also because of Soulbind. But like Inkswell is like there's nothing else really like it in the game. So like to nerf that feels shitty. Like you know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
But that's why he's picked so much, just because of his defining ability being too good. So yeah, I like Grimstroke too, but he was being picked a lot, and he fits a lot of what's good. So I can understand why he's being nerfed.
Yeah, it just, I mean, Inkswell is like, I almost would rather they do something else. Like, reduces stats, reduces move speed. Like, don't touch Inkswell. Whatever.
No, but as long as you could make this, if Inkswell was good, you could take away, like, so many stats from this hero, and you would still pick him, and he would just be, like, a fragile backliner instead of, like, a relatively kind of tanky backliner. But you would still pick him for the Inkswell. So you have to target Inkswell. It's the reason people are picking him.
All right, Huskar, Inner Fire, damage rescaled. More damage up front, slightly less damage later. I don't care. Do you care?
I see some Huskars. That's fine. It's Huskar needs to have a strong early game, so that's what the damage in the front in the first few levels is more important than the damage in the last. Yeah. It's to like help him win the laning stage. So that's fine.
All right. Huskar is synonymous with early to mid game domination. Io, overcharge, attack speed bonus rescaled from 50 to 25. Oh, so much weaker in the laning stages. Not much stronger, but slightly stronger later on. So upfront nerf and only a slight buff later on.
Yeah, I think that's okay. Io's supposed to be like a late game, mid to late game hero. Not that he like frequently gets kills at the early game, but like a couple pairings are really strong. So making that early level a little weaker is, I think, fine, especially if they're buffing the late game by like 5 attack speed. So,
all right, Keeper of the Light. I'm actually really surprised they didn't. Wow, I'm actually surprised they didn't do more to him. But Illuminate, damage reduced from 200 to 185. This must have to do with the damage scaling on like range creeps in the lane. It probably prevents him from blowing up the small camp as well in one shot. I'm sure they did the math on this, and they tried to slow down his ability to just AFK and not even be in lane and just farm everything.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know exactly which ones, but I agree with you. I'm assuming where it's like 2 Illuminates were enough to do like certain wave clears, but now 2 Illuminates are not by like 30 damage is
Yeah,
the big
like,
difference.
why
And if
would you
like 3
change?
creeps survive by 30 damage, it's like 3 extra seconds you have to sit there and auto attack things.
Yeah, like level 3's reduced from 400 to 395. That is oddly specific.
That part's probably just scaling it. How do you go from 185 back to 500? But yeah, I think this is mainly about his level 1 and maybe level 2 Illuminate.
Legion Commander. Moment of Courage cooldown decreased. Okay, that's pretty cool. So in a straight up man fight, she's going to be hitting faster with her Moment of Courage. So that's cool. I like that. And level 15 talent, overwhelming odds per hero increased to 100. So just straight up buffs for Legion Commander. Still a hero that I physically hate playing. Too many active buttons, man. Like, what the hell's with Legion Commander? Like, you cannot enjoy playing that hero. If you like playing Legion Commander, then, like, I don't know.
What do you mean?
There's
She's
too
got to do
many
the animation.
actives.
No, I agree with that. I can't do the buttons, but like it's fun.
I know it's fun if like you snowball. She's either like she's one of those heroes that like either feels amazing or like it's 25 minutes of the game, you don't have a dual kill and you've already been like all chat reported. Like there's no middle ground with Legion Commander, right?
That's just for the pubs. I think Legion's actually a hero who can do well like almost every game, but you need to just switch your playstyle from like ult to like your W. But people never do that. Pub Legion is like always about her ult, so yeah.
And what about the support side? Because the talent change would almost indicate that one can make an argument that is a buff to the support side. Well, what's the other talent at 15? It's the press the attack HP. So never mind, not really.
You're gonna take that if you're support, yeah.
Taking that for support. So this is core.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah.
All right, sorry, I wasn't 100% sure because again, she's one of those heroes I just don't like playing. I just.
That's fair. Everyone's got some.
Yeah. Leshrac, Lightning Storm, number of targets increased from so basically by 1 all across, and damage rescaled to do less up front and more later on. So a bit of this basically allows him to clear waves more effectively and clear camps more effectively, but I guess not actually do more damage to. I mean, I'm not a Lesh player and I'm not a mid player, so this seems like it reduces his kill threat, right?
Yeah, this is good because Leshrac's another hero who likes all 3 of his abilities, and so it's punishing you if you don't level Lightning Storm, and you're trying to like just max your W and your stun, for example. And so now this ability, it's going to hit more people, which arguably is good because it slows, but it's not going to do as much damage, and that's going to slow down his farming speed because his stun it's okay, but his W is not amazing at farming. And you kind of want it for like towers and stuff. So it's going to make it harder for him to like shove waves with a value point in Lightning Storm, which I think is good because if this hero gets like too many things, he like snowballs. Plus, here's a hero who likes Bloodstone and stuff, so I don't want him to like snowball out of control.
All right, Lich. Frostblast, mana cost reduced. So just straight up production.
Nice.
But hold on, not during the laning stage, just later on. This is a bizarre change.
No, by the time it's for his late game because he has like mana issues sometimes in late game. But I agree, this is actually a change that doesn't really matter for quite a while. Actually, that's not true because you usually leave this ability at level 2. That is still 10 mana, and that adds up when you are, for example, building Glimmer Cape first, and you have to use all your abilities plus a Glimmer Cape, and you don't have any like extra intelligence. Lich is a hero who had mana problems, but his E change actually already helped with that. So I didn't think it was like so bad, but I'll take another buff to it. Sure,
I like
not
Lich.
been terribly
He's
popular.
one of my highest win rate heroes. I think I have like a 65% win rate on him. So I'll take all the buffs. But I think that like I've always felt like he gets to a point in the mid game where he has his intelligence gain is 3.6. He kind of just like his mana problems become insignificant, like pretty fast. I feel like.
I think it's only as long. I think it's very. Oops, sorry, camera. I think it's dependent on your skill build, or sorry, your item build. Okay. If you don't have an in item or a neutral item that helps you, then it becomes a lot more noticeable.
Yeah, like I like building Aether Lens, right? So that helps.
Yeah, there you go. So you never notice it.
Yeah, exactly. Lifestealer, Feast. Enemy maximum health is damage increase. So if you're a chunky boy in the off lane, Lifestealer is going to feast even more. Lifestealer is interesting. You don't see him very often. I think only Tundra really plays him consistently. Like Skeeter plays him a lot, but I mean, I don't know. Like at your high MMR, like Do you see a lot of lifestealer?
No, he wasn't. He's not been very good.
No,
He's
yeah.
meh. But some of the heroes that are getting buffed and nerfed are good for lifestealer.
Yeah, like
So
Centaur and
yeah, Centaur being better, Darkseer being better, CK being worse, things like that.
yeah, because you can't really deal with the illusions of CK very effectively.
Yeah, so the patch changing might help him. Or sorry, the meta heroes changing might help him.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a actually I'd have to like sit and do the math again, but I don't think this is like a massive
No, it's
change, but
not.
actually it's not too bad as it goes later because the percent damage is generally good.
Mm-hmm. Now Lina, she's one of my absolute favorite heroes in the game. I love playing Lina position 4. The changes that have been made to her recently have been literally to nerf like Quinn's mid Lina and like T1's mid Lina, like Carl's mid Lina, like all the mid Linas in Pro that were like kind of just right clicking everyone to oblivion. So they changed Fiery Soul quite a bit. So now the adjustments that have been made are the stack duration is increased from 15 to 18 seconds, and as a refresh, basically every time she hits an enemy with a spell, she gets a stack. No longer do you just cast spells in your fountain as you die and run out. Like you have to hit someone, and you get an attack speed bonus and a movement speed bonus as well. I mean, to me, Fire Soul feels like it just sucks. Like I don't, because you don't have the identity of like a right clicker, really, kind of, and it doesn't really benefit. It really doesn't benefit a spellcasting Lina that much. The movement speed, fine, okay, but if a PA is on top of you, you're dead anyway. So it's like, I don't know where this. It's a buff, sure, but and shard bonus. Wait, what does it mean? Shard bonus damage increase? I thought it just made it AOE.
No, it did. It did. Your spells do more damage based on stacks, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's what it does. Sorry.
I don't think it's. It just changed her a bit. She can't show up to fights already having max stacks. She had to like earn them in the fight or have them built up from farming prior, which made her less consistently powerful. But I don't think it was like strictly a nerf to her identity as like the right clicking spellcaster.
But with that being said, if your stack duration is increased by 3 seconds and the shard bonus damage is increased by 5, that you could make the argument that if you have a position for Lina, if you get that 15-minute shard, suddenly, like you think about it, if you land your 3 abilities, it's you open with Light Strike Array, you Dragon Slave, and you Laguna Blade. That's 3 stacks right off the bat, right? You open your fight with 3 stacks.
No, if your Dragon Slave and hopefully LSA hit multiple targets and you get multiple stacks. True.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think this is strict to position 4. In fact, I think this is more about position 2 Lina. I mean, it's nice for position 4 Lina, but I think this is more about position 2 Lina.
I just find it interesting that it's improving the damage of her spells and not of her right clicks, right? So, but obviously right clicks are being improved. No, actually, sorry, you're just getting the attack speed bonus here. But I think, like, I don't know. I would like to theory craft this. If I can find a way to make Lina 4 work, I will spam this hero. It's one of my favorite. I love it.
It does work, but it's not as much about the right clicking usually. It's about the LSA and then the spell burst.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, right? Like you're getting that much more like effectiveness from your spells as you stack these stacks, which have been improved. And it's all spell damage. And if you're playing position 4 Lina, you're playing for the spell damage, right?
Yeah, but I don't think the stacks matter as much for. I mean, they do a little bit more damage, which kind of is nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that much damage, but it's not insignificant either. I mean, it's one of those things you just gotta play, right?
Is it 7 or 8 stacks max?
The maximum stacks are they last 18, and the max stacks are 7.
That's 40 extra damage from what it used to be. That's not terrible, but
yeah, it's interesting.
I don't know.
I'll be trying her. I love Lina 4. I wish it could be a thing. It's unfortunate that it's not.
Doable.
It is doable. Like
doable.
She, I feel like she lanes so good. Her right click attack range is so good. I don't know. She has a stun. Obviously, it's unreliable, but it can be game winning. Lion. Earth Spike, projectile speed increased, and the Hex cooldown decreased. Pretty significantly, level 1. Wow.
Yeah, that's really big.
What are your thoughts?
This is good for Lion, but it still doesn't solve his issue of kind of going in and dying all the time, which is kind of what balances him. So I guess it's fine to leave it that way. It's just overall a buff to him. This is a big cooldown reduction at level 1, and then the Earth Spike speed makes it a little easier to land, especially when you're ground targeting it. So Lion did drop off for quite a while, but I think part of the reason he dropped off was because he's so easy to die, and I feel like he still will, but I don't know, still a buff.
Yeah. Luna, Lucent Beam. Sorry, moving my camera around here. Damage increased, so minor damage increase, but obviously this impacts her ultimate. And then you have level 25 Eclipse mini stun increase slightly. So these are very minute changes, but at the same time, the Lucent Beam.
The Lucent Beam changes
a bit.
Yeah, because it's in the ultimate, so it's actually more damage on like specific targets, and then extra mini stun is kind of nice too. Though I thought the mini stun was already pretty. Oh, I guess it depends how many targets you hit, though. Yeah, it makes her ult better.
Yeah. All right. Lycan, I love Lycan. What'd you do? Critical damage increased. Buffed Lycan. Let's go. So Lycan got buffed. I mean, this isn't crazy. This is just critical damage increase. But what's important here is that this also is going to be a critical damage increase to all of his controlled units as well. Because all of his controlled units will move with the speed and also get a chance to deal the critical damage. So it's a pretty significant buff.
I'll be honest, I don't know if I knew that the creeps got the ult or the
during
critical.
shapeshift, all Lycan and all units under his control move at increased speed, cannot be slowed, and have a 40% chance to deal critical strike damage.
All right.
I'm teaching you something today, buddy. Let's go. Well, I actually play Lycan, though. I think we had a conversation the other day where you said you literally never played Lycan, so maybe that's why.
It's pretty rare, yeah.
Yeah. I love that about Dota, eh? Like, it's such a freaking complicated game that you can have a discussion with someone that has been playing the game for years and years, for thousands of hours. They still learn something new about a talent or an ability. That's crazy. Only in
I'm
Dota,
always
right?
learning.
Yeah.
Always learning.
Magnus Skewer, slow increased by basically 10% across the board. That's pretty significant. Shockwave. So this has to do with the Aghanim's Scepter. What? The way this is written is very awkward. Basically, 25% increases on the Shockwave here. Now, Magnus, after Horn Toss got nerfed, I mean, he's still getting picked here and there. Do you, like, what are your thoughts on, like, Magnus 5, like, Magnus 4?
I don't remember this ultimate at all, or this Agnim's. I have no recollection of him having this, like, armor reduction.
Yeah.
How much is this?
It increases the shockwave's width and range. The line then erupts after a short delay. So kind of like Earthshaker. No, it's not Earthshaker. Not Earth Spirit. What's his name? Elder Titan. Like a mini Elder Titan thingy, I imagine. And everyone takes reduction in armor and movement speed and blah, blah.
It reduces armor by 75%.
The erupt damage is 75. No, I think the erupt damage is 75% of the shockwave itself, the shockwave damage. The debuff duration is 5 seconds.
Yeah, but it says the erupt armor reduction.
Yeah, but it's slow by 75. Oh, yeah, you're right. Is it straight up 75%?
Is that a base? Is it base armor or total armor? I don't know. Chat, someone tell me, and then Alex tell me because I can't see chat. But
I'm not 100% sure.
That's pretty interesting. That could be really good in certain games. 75 is really getting up there.
Yeah, that's a lot of armor reduction. Marcy, okay, ironically, me and you were talking about spamming pos 4 Marcy and pos 5 Marcy, so let's see what you did to Marcy. Unleash, cooldown decreased, okay. I don't think that's that significant, because especially
for core Marcy.
Yeah, the support kit doesn't really revolve around Unleash anyway. Dispose, throw distance reduced, that hurts support because the ability to displace a unit is extremely valuable. And fix thrown enemies being able to cast spells for 1 frame before being stunned. So it's like a bug fix plus a nerf. Sad. That's actually really sad because I thought You think it's a buff?
No, actually, no. I thought she would be buffed. I
did
think this
too.
makes sense though because she's being added to captain's mode, and anytime you do that, you don't want the hero to be too strong most of the time. So, I'm disappointed because I want Marcy to be like really good because I like her, but this is pretty, I think, standard for the way they approach things. So if she doesn't work out and the pros don't like show how busted she is, then they'll buff her after that. Or
Yeah.
the pros will now show why she is actually busted despite these nerfs.
Yeah, like in the hands of legit pros, like maybe you see a gameplay style, like an approach to playing Marcy that is unique that we did not think of prior. That's kind of like what we're hoping for, but I was expecting her to actually get buffed. Her win rate sucks. It's in like the mid 40s. So this is unfortunate. Mars, base damage reduced by 3, sad. Also impacts God's Rebuke, obviously. And Spear of Mars, so stun duration reduced by 0.2 across the board. So Mars getting nerfed.
It's been nerfed for however many patches in a row. I don't think it matters. He'll still be picked.
Okay, yeah, but now you know what? The sad thing about Mars being nerfed like this is he becomes just he's just an ultimate. Like he just plays on his cooldown now. Like that's it. Like he loses again. I feel like this feels bad because now he's just about arena.
No, the spear is still fine. It's just it is nerfing him. The reason Mars is so good is because everything about him is so good, and so he offers something unique that, like you said, the arena is very powerful. But it's also the fact that he then has like a stun on spear at low cooldown. He's like always active and a big team fight impact and a strong laner, and he has a save in the it's not like a full save, but the fact that he can like pull projectiles to him, he has like too much utility. And so they're gonna have to like keep nerfing all of these values. Mars has been repeatedly nerfed and he is still in like the first phase because people just can't replace like what he does.
Chat's saying that Magnus's eggs, by the way, has a 50% main armor reduction that does not affect armor from items.
Okay, so just the base armor.
Yeah.
Okay, that's still really good against like certain agility heroes though. Not an every game thing, but like could be really good in certain games.
Night Stalker Void mana cost increased from 80, so basically 10 across the board.
Nice.
All right, just nice. That's
yeah. Nerf him.
By the way, your patch notes tend to go so much longer than mine. Do you like how I'm like pacing you a little bit? Like I'm cutting you off.
Yeah,
like...
thank you for speeding me up. Because
I'm actually doing a good job as a host.
You don't want to just look at the patch for the 4 hours then end.
Yeah. Omni Knight. Hammer of Purity. The base bonus damage has been rescaled. So it gets a little stronger later on, slightly reduced early on. And the level 20 talent is increased. So buffs, well, kind of nerfy buffs. Changes and then buffed. Okay. I can get behind Omni Knight. I like Omni Knight.
Unless this makes it core Omni Knight viable, it's like irrelevant, I feel like, to support Omni Knight. I mean, obviously it's like slightly better, but like I don't think it changes his like core function and core issues.
Sorry, chat. There's some weird sensitivity like all over this side. If I click, it like skips the whole patch note.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
Pango. Just watch Fata play position 5 Pango. Shield crash cooldown increased, which is kind of sad. Like that was kind of the main way that Pango was securing range creeps. And roll up duration reduced. So that makes it so the guy can't just roll up and sit there forever. So nerfs to Pango.
The shield crash is livable. Yeah. The roll up is the bigger change, I think.
Yeah, because with roll up, like he just sits there and like, also when you hit him, he does like the mini roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
So interesting changes. Like, what are your thoughts on support Pango? Because like Pango's being played everywhere. Pango literally has seen all 5 positions, like in DPC in the last few months. Every single
really? He did position 1.
He was literally just played position 1.
I wasn't watching it.
Oh yeah. Well, anyways, he was played position 1. I can't remember who did it, but he was played.
I did it when he first came out.
Oh,
I was playing Battle Fury on him.
OG played him pause 1.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. Anyways, very interesting changes to Pango. We have Phantom Lancer. Listen, I hate Phantom Lancer. This is like one of those pub stomp heroes that I wish would just disappear, but I'm glad he's been out of the meta.
Sorry, dude, he's buffed.
Doppelganger cooldown reduced. So this makes
this is a significant buff,
man. And juxtapose, damage increased by 3%. So he's gotten some small buffs. I think this is a little like because clearly they knew they're like, all right, we can't break Phantom Lancer because everyone's going to uninstall the game. So they kind of kept it.
Doppelganger is a big buff. 6 seconds at level 1. This is one of those abilities you want to leave at 1 value point, and now it's better at that. And 6 seconds is enough to like lose an entire creep wave, depending on how things have played out. And now being able to approach the wave again 6 seconds sooner is really big for his laning stage, which kind of determines how well PL will do in a game. So that's a really nice change for him. Kind of have to see some of these other heroes, the rest. Leshrac got, I can't remember, was Lesh nerfed total overall?
Chat's going on you about how your mic got nerfed. Jimin's Bulge, absolutely no chill in the chat right now. Poor guy, he's in a hotel room halfway across the world trying to give you content, Jimin's. But anyways.
I'll be back on Friday, and then I'll leave again.
Pudge, everyone's favorite hero. Base damage increased by 3. Flesh heap damage block increased by a lot. Wow, actually pretty significant. Like across the board, a lot of increases there.
28.
And rot slow increased by 2% at level 10. I hate Pudge. And I hate when Pudge is picked
Pudge
on my
likes
team.
Eternal Shroud.
I hate when Pudge is picked on the enemy team. I hate when it's picked on my team. I'd ban Pudge every game if I could, but then everyone would
What
just
a shame.
pick Trekkies.
Pudge is such a good hero too.
He's
Not
a
like
great hero, but
conceptually a great hero. Stat-wise, not always so good, and I don't know if this is enough to make him good, but like his kit is incredible. It's too bad most people are bad at him.
Yeah. Pugna, you probably saw this coming. Nether Ward, damage per mana used reduced, and damage reduction reduced. So straight nerfs to Mana Ward. Nether Ward.
Yeah. He's probably still playable, but worse. I'm fine with that. I don't like Pugna. I don't enjoy him.
Fair enough. Ricky
Maru.
So Trick to the Trade reduced cooldown. I play a lot of Ricky. He's one of my go-to cores. And I'm going to tell you right now that this Tricks to the Trade cooldown does not feel that significant because you'll never have enough mana because they nerfed his mana on his Blink Strike. You will not have enough mana to like cast this off cooldown anyway. Like it gives you some added survivability, but with the nerfs to the Blink Strike mana, your mana is going to be an issue for Ricky Maru no matter what. And so I don't know if the cooldown reduction actually helps that much.
Ends up being W charge time?
Sorry?
What's his W charge time? The Blink Strike?
It's I have to double check here. It restores in 25, 20, 15, then 10. And the mana increases 50, 55, 60, 65. What I was saying is that like you can't feasibly use all your skills. He just does not have. So like I don't know what this actually does.
The reason this will be a buff is because one, it's an escape that you have 3 seconds sooner, or it's an aggressive play that you have 3 seconds sooner. You're not supposed to like use all his abilities. You're only supposed to use like Blink Strike sparingly, and then you commit everything when you're like going really hard. Mm-hmm. So having the power of like all his abilities that you can like Blink Strike, hit someone, Tricks of the Trade, cancel it, hit someone, Blink Strike, hit them, and then it's up 3 seconds sooner. So if you're starting at your tower, it might be up by the time you're in their tower, depending how things have played out.
Yeah, fair enough. So or you can be like in my games where you're playing Ricky, and you have to use
it'll come up
Blink
in
Strike
some
on
cases.
range creep every time because your support is AFK running under the enemy tower. So
that's fine. Ricky does that. It's okay.
Shadow Demon, Shadow Poison, hit damage increased, just straight up across the board. Not bad. I mean, I actually I conceptually like Shadow Demon. I think he's a really cool hero. And anytime I've played him, I feel like no one on my team or the enemy team knows what Shadow Demon does.
He's a weird one.
He's definitely a weird one. But Shadow, like, what are your thoughts on like Shadow Demon 4?
It's fine. I think it's fine before. I think this is a slight buff, which is fine.
Yeah.
I think he was a viable hero before, and this is ever so slightly more viable. So.
Yeah, Shadow Poison is one of those abilities that, like, if you haven't played against Shadow Demon in a while, you really underestimate how much damage it'll kind of spank you for. But
yeah.
All right, everyone's favorite, mid being picked by Smurfs, Shadow Fiend. Requiem of Souls, max fear duration increased from 2.4 to 2.7. Do you care?
All right. It'll allow him to get like one extra auto attack, possibly another raisin, depending. So he'll pick up like a couple more kills with his ult, and that's big, but
all right. Silencer.
Yeah.
Strength growth reduced. Arcane Curse mana cost decreased at higher levels.
He needs that.
But kind of remains consistent through the laning stage. And the level 20 talent, this is big. 5 seconds additional cooldown reduction on Global Silence from negative 20 seconds to negative 25. That's pretty good. I mean, I don't know about you. Playing Silencer, I like playing Silencer. I was kind of sad when they nerfed his Ags. But Silencer's interesting because, like, Global Silence is so valuable, right? And having that extra cooldown reduction, I think, is really valuable.
What's the total ult cooldown now? Or without the talent?
I speak softly.
So at level 1, it's 130 seconds. Level 2, it's 115. Level 3, it's 100. And you would take 25 seconds off that.
75. Okay. That's pretty good with the BKB change, I think.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Silencer's coming back. But for a support Silencer, it's kind of rare to get 20 anyways, though.
Yeah.
Maybe in pubs it's fine. I don't know if this will bring, like, core Silencer, which we saw a little bit. Actually, maybe no, we don't. Maybe I'm misremembering that. But, kind of interesting.
Slark, base damage increased by 2 at the low end, and then Essence Shift, duration rescaled, so that it's a little longer up front, but shorter at the end game.
That'll help his laning stage.
Screw Slark. Sniper, Assassinate, damage increased from 320 to 320. So it actually just gets, so level 1 Assassinate remains the same, level 2 and 3 get increased.
That's a fairly minor buff, it feels like. I'm honestly confused by that. That's not how I would have approached buffing Sniper.
Yeah, that's strange. Sven, base attack speed
110.
increased. That's actually
Sven,
pretty huge.
let's go.
I think that's significant that Sven's base attack speed got increased.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Sven, I mean, after they nerfed his eggs, his Superman eggs, I mean, he hasn't quite been the same since, but
I hated Superman Ags.
Yeah.
Sven.
Why? Because you'd basically just like see him flying at you and realize you're like, I'm just dead, and then he'd land.
It was pretty miserable.
Yeah, just blow you
It
up.
just you just had to build Blink first. It just removed a lot of like the interesting parts of the game to me.
Techies, Proximity Mine bounty gold reduced, Proximity Mine magic resistance reduction increased, and Sticky Bomb detonation slow is increased from 2 seconds to 2.5.
Yeah, hands up. Who knew Proximity Mine reduced your magic resistance? Because I definitely forgot about that.
I think that's a change that they made for when they redid the hero. But anyways, screw techies. Terrorblade. Metamorphosis bonus attack damage increased by pretty much double at level 1. So this is like Metamorphosis was often taken during the laning phase. So it looks like Terrorblade's laning phase got a whole lot stronger. Basically doubled the damage from Metamorphosis level 1. An increase at level 2. And then finally you ultimately get to the same at level 4. What are your thoughts on this? Because Terrorblade, like, he should feel weak early, like, but now he's a lot stronger.
He has to play around meta. He hasn't been that good, so I think this is fine. But he's, I don't know, supposed to. There's never really always like one right way to play Dota, but the norm is to use meta to guarantee yourself a good start. And I think he was having a bit of a hard time with that lately. So I think that's why they're buffing it, to help him have a good start. And then Terribly with a good start is very scary. And if he still doesn't have a good start, then you'll still be able to punish him, but it'll be harder when you have 15 extra damage.
That's right. And chat, going back to the Sven change here, chat's saying, isn't base attack speed one of the biggest buffs to a hero, especially to a core? I mean, they did the exact same buff to Lycan, right? So we can go to Lycan here.
Oh, you didn't
Where's
see
Lycan?
that
There he is.
coming.
We can go to Lycan. How
Where
did
are
his
the
trend
wolves?
change? This is several weeks. So his trend... So when they gave him his buff, I can't go far enough back, unfortunately. Okay, well that example sucked. They actually did the same thing to Lycan, and it did have an impact on his ability to get last hits in lane.
Yeah, the base attack time is the big one for carries. Um, 10 at the start is pretty good because everyone has like the base 100. And for Sven, I think, actually, I can't remember. Sven might have a slightly slower base attack than others. He might be like 1.8 or 1.9, but I could be lying. So
It's
it does
1.
help him a little bit to get the last
It is
hits.
1.9.
Okay. It does help him to get some last hits. 10 is not as impactful to a hero. Boy, I got to remember this. Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember if attack speed is more impactful if you have a high base attack or a low. I think it's if you have a high. So I think it's less impactful than some others, but because it's Sven, it is like that balances it out. So I think it will help him get some last hits. Sven's another hero I was just explaining with like Terrorblade. Terrorblade actually has a late game though, but Sven is also a hero who needs a good start to be relevant.
Yeah, like when you compare
so
Juggernaut's 1.4 base attack time to 1.9 of a Sven, like the heroes definitely feel different.
Mm-hmm.
Timbersaw. Base strength increased by 1, and Timberchain's max distance and cast range has been reduced.
I like
so
that.
slightly. I was actually expecting more than this, but I guess Amar not getting straight up nerfed. Timbersaw will just continuously just be banned. Whatever. Screw Timbersaw. Also, screw Tinker, whose defense matrix has a range increased by 600 to 650, and Warp Flare mana cost reduced. Support Tinker, anybody?
Okay.
Defensive matrix, it's better now.
Yeah. I gotta look at his other abilities again. This is a hero who's always lives or dies on a very fine line between irrelevant and broken. So I gotta look at all the abilities together to see.
Yeah. It's so funny. There's so many heroes in Dota that like you hate playing against, and Tinker is definitely one of them. Tinker, Pudge, Techies, these like grief-centric heroes that are designed to just grief your game. Anyways, that's a conversation for another day.
All right, we'll move on.
Snowball speed increase. I'll take that. Tag team.
Can pull the whole team into this fountain faster.
Extremely minor buffs, but definitely buffed nonetheless. What do you think about Tusk?
Yeah, I agree with what you said. Seems minor to me. It'll definitely matter in like certain situations, but I think it's just like a small percentage buff to his to the hero.
Yeah, fair enough. Ursa's Earth Shock. Move speed slow increased by pretty significant actually early on. And Earthshock, a lot of people have been taking it at level 1, so this is actually a pretty big buff. Like a lot of people are taking level 1 Earthshock. And so that's not insignificant. This is like first blood territory here for Ursa. This definitely makes him strong.
Yeah. If not level 1, which I would say Ursa at level 1 is still weaker than he used to be, but by level 2 or 3, that extra 6% slow will make a difference.
Yeah, no kidding. That's pretty cool. Like that's Ursa in the laning stage, definitely a terror. Vengeful Spirit, base damage increased by 2. Do you care?
What's her total damage now?
Total damage is 46 to 52. Wham wham.
46 to 52.
Sucks. What's Lich's?
Yeah, don't feel strongly about this still. I really want Venge to be good. I've been waiting for her to be good for quite a while.
Lich right clicks harder than Venge.
What can you do?
So maybe I don't know. I think that's sad. That's sad. But I remember the good old days, like in like old Dota, maybe even before you played Dota, whereas like Luna Venge was like the lane. Because you take Lunar Blessing,
that was a good one.
And then you just like right click and just like, maybe they're trying to get back to that. Who knows? Visage or Visage, depending on who you ask. Soul Assumption, max damage per charge reduced from 75 to 70.
That's fine. Visage is being picked like,
yeah,
it wasn't like a ton, but he was like enough. And Visage is supposed to be like a niche hero, I feel like. So
yeah. I think the argument was being made that Visage was a good pick in Pro because he was able to counter Pugna a little bit, that his familiars were able to blow up the wards. But Anyways, Warlock. Okay, I like Warlock. I think Warlock's cool. And one of the biggest buffs you can give a support, movement speed. He's getting 10, 290 to 300, upheaval, slow increased, buffed across the board. Well, not really across the board, mostly up front, but whatever. Chaotic Offering, cast range reduction. Zach, what are your thoughts? He still sucks, doesn't he?
I don't think he needs 1200 range, so I think that's livable. Yeah, years like whatever. I think the level 1 slow is not too bad, but it takes a while to get to max slow at level 1. So like I don't know how impactful that is. The 10 movement speed is kind of the coolest part, but like Warlock is like the definition of a backline support. He's never like walking up forward, so it's not as impactful later on. I feel like in the early game, maybe, but like even in the laning stage, Warlock is a passive support. So I don't know. I still think the meta is a little weird for him, but maybe the meta is shifting. But I didn't see too many major general changes that would shift the meta that much, so I don't really expect Warlock to be, I don't know, to be better that much.
Because there's really only two ways to play Warlock, right? Like you can do the like Holy Locket Shard type stuff, or you can just do like all in on his ult with like Refresher. It feels like there's no in between, and both kind of feel bad. I don't know.
Yeah, he's too slow. No stuns besides his ult, which is a very minimal stun. So, yeah. Oh no, Weaver.
Geminate attack damage bonus increased. Thanks for that, Valve. Good job, Valve. Way to basically grief everybody.
It's not that bad. It'll be.
Still sucks.
I mean, he's slightly better, but I don't know if it'll be like I don't think it'll still be like first pick and all that. So it's fine.
Win Ranger.
I also didn't like Weaver.
Another nerf to Gale Force. Used to be global, now it's not. Shard push speed reduced from 250 to 240. I don't think that's crazy. It was a little too much, perhaps. Seb nerf,
This is reasonable.
Witch Doctor. Death Ward cooldown reduced from 70 to 60.
Yo, this ability's getting so low cooldown actually.
And Maledict burst damage increased by 5%. Witch Doctor's getting some love. He got love in the last patch as well.
This is a really low cooldown ult.
You can definitely kill guys with Death Ward like off cooldown. It's not quite as easy as like Skywrath, but it's pretty damn close. Like Death Ward.
Witch Doctor stonks are going up. His Q got buffed the last time too, I think, to do the bonus creep damage.
Yeah, it does.
Stonks.
And finally, Zeus, Heavenly Jump, duration increased. For those that don't know, Heavenly Jump is actually pretty awesome. Not only does it do increased damage, it does attack and movement slow for a significant duration, which really helped Zeus out. Now, Zach, I know Zeus is mainly a mid, but I itch at the thought of playing Zeus 4. Is it that as bad as you think it is?
I tried it once and I saw it once, I think. If you get away with it, you get away with it. Heavenly Jump definitely helps a lot more than the old passive does. I don't think having 0.6 slow, well, it's actually not too bad. I don't know, but
here's my argument.
I think it's still a really greedy 4.
It's greedy, but here's the thing. So,
okay,
not all of us can be graced with the presence of immortal players when we queue, okay? We get into games with guys who may or may not speak your language, first picking off-lane Alchemist, and you realize very quickly that you're going to have to try and scale into a game where the other team has 5 cores. So
I'd say that's...
Picking Zeus doesn't feel crazy when you know your game's going 55 minutes.
Feels crazy to me.
Does it? Because I
don't know why you'd be like, I don't trust my team. Let me pick this support.
Oh, you trust your team, Zach?
No, if you're saying you don't trust your team, why would you pick someone so dependent on teammates as Zeus to have like a good lane? Without a good team, like Zeus support sucks. So like, I don't know. It's not like an individual support.
So what your argument is that even if you're like sub 2K, picking Zeus, you're still just griefing yourself because you're too reliant on your teammates anyways.
I mean, I would still play it, but I just don't think you can be like. I think the logic that you laid out doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
But I would pick it just because, like, oh, I like Zeus, I think it'll work. But if you're like, oh, I can't trust my team, then why do you pick heroes that are heavily like team dependent? That doesn't
Okay.
make any sense.
let me clarify my argument. My argument is that if you're positioned for Zeus, you can end a 55-minute game leading your team in hero damage.
God, why do you want to go? I guess, but like, it's gonna be so boring. It's gonna be so boring. I would rather pick like an active, more active, independent hero. Be Wind Ranger. Wind Ranger can do more on her own.
Can she though?
Yeah.
I mean, let's not forget Thunderbolt stuns. You got a stun.
Too many stun.
All right. Zeus support still on the chopping block. I think. I don't think Zach's gonna exactly go 0-15. But look at my hero
I'm not
damage.
sold
bro.
on it.
That is the spirit. That is the spirit, Joe.
The hero damage stat is like a total debate to like people. Oh, look how good I am, or like, oh, look how bad my carry is. Low hero damage. Like that stat's pretty meh.
It's the only stat that Venomancer players will like even talk about.
Speaking of which, no Veno changes, no
actually,
Invoker changes, no
Venomancer, not here.
Conga changes. I'm very disappointed.
All right, let's see if this report can come up. This battle
Actually, I
report.
guess no Jakiro and no Treant changes either, so I guess I can't complain too much.
All right, my battle
I
report's
really
popping
wanted
up here.
Conga.
I don't know what's happening right now. Okay, we're watching this
we
live.
need the legends now.
Your featured hero, Axe, 6-0 with a 100% win rate. Hell yeah, I got a 100% win rate on Axe.
Diaper man.
I'm literally wearing the diaper in this shot too. I love it. 83% lane win rate. What? Wait, how did they calculate this? So I won my lane 83% of the time, 34% higher than players of similar skill. I hate buildings. 2,800 average tower damage, 1,000 more than players of similar skill. Climbing the ranks, 170 ranked MMR delta. I don't know what that means. What the hell does that mean? Does not include calibration. I don't even know what that means. You might know numbers better. What is 170 ranked MMR delta? Is that how much I swing on average?
Maybe.
Thank you for that.
That's how I would
contribution.
interpret. That's how I would interpretate that.
All's
But I
well
don't
that
know
ends
what
well.
that means.
100% win rate. What? I don't have a 100% win rate. I don't know if this is
Maybe you
correct.
do on Axe.
Oh, this isn't just in
6-0.
total. This is just talking about my Axe. Oh, I thought this was like in total. Okay, I get it. All right. Thank you for the raid. Appreciate it, Omelet. Appreciate it, buddy. We have our role. Your featured role is support. I was 5-0 on Skyrath Mage, apparently. I don't know. Why is it picking all these like random small things? Win me over. Max win streak 9. Average camp stacks 1.4. Sad. Ranked MMR Delta 270. I'd love to know what that means. 71% win rate. Average last hits 140. Won my lane only 57% of the time. That's sad. Overall performance. Overall win rate 112 to 187 over this period. 56.3% win rate. Climbing the ranks 830 ranked MMR Delta. Fastest win 18 minutes and 46 seconds. I played just under 200 games. Longest game was 71 minutes. And I had a 56% win rate. That's not bad. Highlights. So this is pretty interesting. Longest game was a win, 111 minutes as a Ricky. Shortest game was an Axe game, 18 minutes. Average game duration 30. This is actually pretty interesting here.
Oh, we have stats now.
Yeah,
Instead of
I
having
like
to go
this.
to like
This is
Dota
cool.
buff and open Dota.
Max hero damage. Primal Beast 108,000 damage. Max GPM. Okay, not bad. Not bad. So yeah. All right, this is neat. I like this.
Poggies.
Analysis. So this is just through these months, right? So I had a 62% win rate on Chaos Knight, 66% win rate on Wraith King, 47% on Juggernaut. Wham wham. 55 Ricky, Maru, 55 DK. Good old 37% win rate on Underlord. You hate to see it. Rolls? Oh, this is... I'm going to embarrass myself now. So I won 56% of my safe lane games, 47% of my off lane games, 56% of my hard support, and position 4, 71%. Wow. Position 4, 71%. What's up, boys? And final report summary. So I'm best pause 4, and overall, I still suck at Dota. Okay. Well, that is the battle summary that didn't work before, but ZQuixotics, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me tonight. Guys, as always, I will be linking ZQuixotics' Twitch and YouTube channels down below so you guys can check them out. I'm sure if you have been spending any time on my YouTube channel, you know about ZQuixotics, my coach, my senpai, my mentor. And I appreciate you spending time with us tonight to bring your top-tier analytics to this patch, especially from the comfort of what looks to be a very brown and bland hotel room. All right, guys. Zach, do you have any closing words for all the kids out there?
Nah, go have fun. Go play the patch. Doesn't seem like it should have too many massive changes, but it should get some new heroes in, so.
Wise words. Play the game.
Also, supports are now free. No more salves. Woo, let's go.
No salves for supports. We'll see you guys later. Take care.